السلام عليكم إخواني بالحلقة الرابعة من برنامج كاونتر بانش. كاونتر بانش هو البرنامج الأول اللي بيغطي كل أحداث الملاكمة العالمية باللغة العربية. اليوم معاكم محمد، وفي حلقة مميزة معاي الضيف البطل الأمريكي المصري أحمد البيلي. أحمد البيلي زي ما عرفناكم عليه آخر مرة بودكاست هوشة، هو بطل فلوريدا ستيت جلوف تشامبيون أكثر من مرة، مصنف توب 10 بالدبليو سي دبليو بي سي دبليو بي اي، بطل نابا نورث امريكان بوكسينج اسوسيشن. يعني من الاخر one of the most decorated boxers, one of the most decorated Arabic active boxers. وزي ما عودناكم كمان انه بنمط برنامج هذا رمضان بدنا نركز على الملاكمين المسلمين. ولما فكرت انا بالموضوع حكيت اوكي فيش حد احسن ببالي من الكابتن احمد. والحمد لله هيو we have him on the show one more time. Ahmed, brother, Ramadan Mubarak. How have you been? What's up with you, man?
What's up, Muhammad? Alhamdulillah. Good to speak to you again.
The last time we spoke was October, man, and a lot of things happened.
Yes.
A lot of things happened since then, but I've been keeping an eye out of on your Instagram, dude, and you've been training hard, man. I've just been thinking like, is there something coming up?
Alhamdulillah, yes. We have something scheduled, inshallah, for April 27th here in Miami, another Down King show. And I mean, I've been preparing all year long, alhamdulillah. Nowadays in boxing, with what's going on and with how limiting the sport is becoming, the funnel is getting smaller. So one a fighter can't just win anymore. You have to win, you have to shine, you have to look sensational. And it requires not just training on a constant basis, but it requires sacrifice, discipline in all the ways of not doing the right thing. I mean, not doing the wrong thing, and also disciplining yourself and always doing the right thing. Technically speaking, in the ring, outside of the ring as well. And it just requires a whole lot of dedication, hard work, sacrifice. And it's been a long career, but we are ready for what's next. And what's next, inshallah, is April 27th.
Inshallah, man. I'm excited. And to be honest, it looks like you're never out of camp, dude, like the way you're training. I'm interested in knowing so who's your next opponent, and are you gonna stay at light heavyweight? What's going on with that?
Inshallah, I'm staying at light heavyweight until I obtain my title opportunity to challenge for the world championship. For right now, there's a couple opponents that we are in the look at, but the number one that we're talking about, his name is Sergio Jimenez. He's a undefeated Mexican from Mexico. I believe he resides in California, and I'm fortunate. I'm fortunate that this is a business, and we're all grown men just trying to better ourselves, make a living, become champions. And I'm very fortunate when a man steps in the ring and puts his record on the line in order to achieve what I'm trying to achieve as well. So, inshallah, it will be a good, great fight for the fans, and we put on a great show for the whole fight card, for everyone coming to attend and for everyone watching on Fight TV, now called TRILLER TV. And yeah, it's our job, brother. So I'm very fortunate for him. I'm very fortunate for my promoter, for my team, my trainers, and we're ready to do big things and become champions, inshallah.
That sounds dope, man. Especially that you're fighting an undefeated fighter right now. That's a lot of guys in the division right now wouldn't do something like that. Fighting undefeated fighters in boxing is, I don't know, people avoid it. And it's just, I don't know. I think it's really cool that you're putting yourself out there, especially also with fights like the Pascal fight. I know that didn't go so good, but I think you're really out here building a name on these ferocious opponents, really. And what do you think of like what's happening now and everything and the movement that's happening in the light heavyweight division, especially like with Bivol and Beterbiev now fighting in June? Do you think like things are finally starting to move a little bit? Do you see it like closer? Because I think it looks closer.
Yes, I absolutely think it's closer. As far as the champions, it's good. They're gonna fight each other, and I believe the titles, once someone becomes undisputed, usually the titles like split up, like you know in Dragon Ball Z when they collect all the Dragon Balls and then the balls go all over the world again. So that's exactly what happens in boxing. And what's good also is a lot of the champions at 168 are moving up. The Benavides, guys like Benavides, I'm sure guys like David Moreau, a lot of top 168s are going to move up, and it opens the way for someone like myself, someone that's just been hanging in there. Alhamdulillah, yes, I've gone through my loss. I've gone through injuries and setbacks and movements and team changes, promoters, litigations with promoters. Alhamdulillah, we're still here. I I looked at this as a long-term passion and not just job, and it is about to open up, inshallah. And sometimes I want more, but I'll look back and say, well, 2 years ago I didn't have a NABA or NABF. Last year I had an NABA. Then this year I'm like, oh, I want more, but it's like, well, this year you have an ABF. You're in the rankings in 3 of the top organizations. So it's you don't always get what you want, but when you try, sometimes you get what you need. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, I feel like it goes like 0 to 100 real quick sometimes too. You know what I mean?
Especially in these type of professions, in these entertainment industry professions. Yes. Look at Shireen. I was just listening to her song with my mom. Of course, she's always been very popular, but this song that's been out for 20 years now is, she's probably like, I'm close to being a billionaire because of this song now. She never thought about
A
that 20
hundred
years
percent.
ago. So
100%.
it's
A lot of things like just move by themselves, and especially in the world of boxing, man, like there's a lot of weird things that happen. Like the other day, I heard that they vacated Beterbiev's title, which makes me think,
oh wow.
yeah, one of them. I'm not sure if it was the Ring or IBF. I can't remember which one. But it was one of the organizations. They're saying like, we're already gonna vacate this guy because I think they're already planning to make space for Benavides. I think they wanted to have Benavides and that Ukrainian Gozdik. They wanted to have them both fight for an interim title. Um, I don't know. My feeling is that like it feels like the boxing world already is pushing like Beterbiev out, and I reckon like anyway. Which, by the way, I want to ask you about this, like the Beterbiev-Bivol fight, how you think that's gonna pan out. In my opinion, like I just see Beterbiev retiring after that fight if he wins it because he's almost like 40 now, right?
I don't think he will retire. I think he's going to go up to cruiserweight and become an undisputed cruiserweight champion as well. Um, I do think he washes. I'm sorry to say, Bivol is he's a good fighter. I can't talk shit about the guy because he's a world champion and I'm not. So I don't want to sound like anything, but from an analytical point of view, sorry to say this, but Beterbiev is going to wash the floor with his face, and that's with all due respect to both fighters because they both earn that position of he's getting to fight the best fighter in the world, and Beterbiev is getting the opportunity to unify all these titles by fighting a Bivol. He's not made a mistake, so I believe he will absolutely wreck Bivol, take his titles, move up to cruiserweight, become a cruiserweight champion, and I would not be surprised if he retires at about 45 years old and maybe even becoming a bridgerweight world champion. I think Beterbiev is a modern day Rocky Marciano, Joe Louis, Jersey Joe Walcott, all these old school fighters in one. Jack Dempsey. So I really think he's going to clear out multiple divisions before he retires, unless, of course, unless he becomes very devoted to Islam, which he is, and to his family, and says like, I'm done with this. But I don't see boxing really ruining his personal life. I think it goes hand in hand with his family. He looks very safe in the ring. He destroys everybody. I don't see his wife like closing her eyes, closing, like,
Yeah.
no, she's like, She's more worried about the other guys. She's like, oh god, like Allah somehow, you
Hey,
know.
he's so relaxed, dude. Like I even watching this guy on Instagram, like in his camps up until like he just doesn't look like he's going to war or nothing. Like he's just like, this is my 9 to 5, business as usual. His mindset is terrifying. But
Yes,
I think it also makes sense. Like he would do a good job at cruiserweight. I heard in the amateurs he fought guys like Usyk, right?
he fought Usyk. He fought. I've heard from Russians on the amateur team that the heavyweights would not. They hated sparring him. They're like, this guy has no chill. He's just go and hits hard and just keeps going. So I'm like, and these are I'm talking like 6'5", over 230-pound heavyweights. Like they're
Yeah.
legitimate heavyweights. So no, alhamdulillah, he's a great representation for Islam. And dude, I learned a lot from watching guys like Beterbiev, and I know a good friend of mine named Lonnie B. He sparred Beterbiev, and Lonnie B is an amazing fighter, and he speaks about the man just how we do, just absolutely terrifying. So that's a great fight for boxing. I believe the whole card is going to be great. It's great to be done in Saudi Arabia, and I wish them all the best, inshallah.
Yeah.
And yes, alhamdulillah, it opens the way for fighters like myself.
Yeah, man. We're really excited about this one. And I've been meaning to ask you actually, like, what do you think of just this incredible transformation that's been happening in the world of boxing, especially with like all the big events, all the pay-per-views now going towards Saudi?
I think it's amazing. Of course, sometimes I get a little upset because I mean, I'm a Middle Eastern guy that isn't getting his opportunity there, but it's okay. I've been fortunate to get opportunities in the capital of boxing, which is the United States of America. Like in all reality, it is in Saudi Arabia, or it hasn't been in the past 20 years, and it hasn't been Europe. It hasn't been the UK. It's been California, Las Vegas, Texas, New York. So I'm very fortunate to be in the country where this has given boxing the greatest spotlight. But of course, I would love to represent my country that I was born in, and the talent of this country that it has given me in a place like Saudi Arabia, to show them this is what a mixed culture fighter is, and what he brings to the ring.
How do you feel about that whole like Ngannou Joshua thing, and what do you think that said about boxing, especially like the way the first Ngannou fight panned out, right?
I think the first one with Tyson was it was a little setback for boxing, but Joshua came in and got the job done. I think it's good, man. It's they're just all trying to. It's the entertainment industry. So as far as entertaining, it absolutely was entertaining. Like it's like showing up to a ballet event and expecting extravagant ballet dancers, and it was. They came out. He knocked them clean the out, and as Ngannou, that's also a win on his part, because to get knocked out like that in a country that's not yours by one of the best heavyweights in the last decade, he has nothing to lose. He's only gained stock in both MMA and boxing, and it's helped boxing grow in ways. Absolutely, I think internationally more eyes are on boxing in Saudi Arabia. I don't think U.S. nationally. I don't think as much buyers pay attention to those events here in the U.S. They're still looking at the Vegas and the Haneys and the Ryan Garcias. Yes, like that's what's still popping here. But internationally, and especially out of the UK and Europe, all eyes are on Saudi Arabia. Alhamdulillah.
If it wasn't for Saudi Arabia, like that Beterbiev-Bivol fight would have never have happened, right?
Never happened.
Because it's
Never.
like Americans would have never been able to sell that to Americans. They're gonna be like, we don't want to watch two Soviet dudes. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if, like both, it's like having the bad, like two bad guys from a Rocky movie fight each other. It's just a farce.
It's so true. Well, I never thought about it like yes. I think about it money wise, like, oh, who's gonna pay for it? Like the problem is what promoter is gonna bid on putting $10 million down for this fight? Nobody. But you're absolutely right. In the fans' eyes, it's two Dragos fighting each other. It's like what?
But they're gonna make it happen. And I think that's such a really good fight, man, because like I don't know, I just think like going back to that whole like Beterbiev light heavyweight situation. I just think it's such a good style matchup too, because like you know how like Bivol is like he's your like archetypal Soviet boxer. Like he uses distance really well, range really well, but then he like he sort of only moves like one dimensionally. Like he doesn't pivot a lot. You know what I mean? Uh, Beterbiev has the same base in amateur boxing, which is like this quick and rangy like Soviet boxing. But then I don't know where somewhere along the line he learned to be like more flat-footed and like more American sort of, and like use pivots more. And I don't know, dude. Like a lot of people have been telling me like, hey, like Beterbiev can't take Bivol's footwork because they think like going in and out is like really, like agile or whatever. But in my opinion, that when you're not using any pivoting and you're just going back in straight lines, you might get knocked out way easier.
I agree, and I think his trainer Mark Ramsey is a very good trainer. He's one of the last old school teachers in boxing. He's not just a trainer; he's a teacher. And people would say, "Oh, he was already a great fighter when Mark got him." Yeah, but like you said, he was maybe not one dimensional, even if he's two or three. But Mark has definitely given him this professional boxing. I'm gonna say America. Not I don't want to say American, but international boxing style where he is pivoting. He's giving angles. He's going to the body, coming back to the head. Um, and Bivol, I would say from a judgment standpoint, he trains with his hands down. He does go back in a straight line. He pulls back. He doesn't cover his face enough. You know, fighters will say like, "Oh yeah, Floyd did that and this did that." It's like, yes, but that's Floyd and that's that. You watch the best world champions in the world: Mike Tyson, Glenn Johnson, Antonio Tarver, uh, the most fundamentally sound fighters punch. They bring their hands back to place. They cover their heads. They roll. They dip. They dodge. Whereas I believe Bivol he's fundamentally sound in his Soviet, Kazakh, or Kyrgyzstan style, but it's not the style that's going to help you win against a guy like Beterbiev, where you need absolute good fundamentals, a good strategy to win. Um, and he, of course, Beterbiev is beatable. I don't know if he's beatable, actually. Anybody can lose, anybody can get hit. But with the way I see Beterbiev training and keeping his basics and fundamentals sound versus Bivol's, hands down, back and forth, I don't even see it going past 8 rounds.
Yeah, hey, I share the same view, and I got like a lot of hate for it on one of my previous page, on my Hosha page. People were saying like he's gonna dance circles around him, all that. I don't think so, man.
No,
And,
I'm gonna say Lonnie B. If inshallah he can hear this, and he would agree with me. Lonnie B he has this African American style. He's not a back and forth on your toes fighter, but he got ring generalship up the ass. Like you're gonna be chasing a rabbit that weighs 180 pounds, and he moves like Floyd. He's dipping and dodging. I would say he has much better ring generalship than Bivol, much better. And he would and Beterbiev touched him easily, easily, like no hands down.
ring generalship is like a theme that I feel is like more established in American boxing versus Soviet boxing. I feel like ring generalship in Soviet boxing is sort of like putting your guy against the ropes and like, that's it. But with American boxing, it's just you see these guys that cut off the ring so nicely and move in like just dictate where the
Yeah.
fight go and sort of move like NBA defenders. You know what I mean? They just like moving laterally all the time. This dude Raymond Savage, I don't know if you've seen him. He fights on.
Yes, he beat Otabek. I know Otabek well from Miami.
Dude, what about that fight, man? Did you watch that fight?
Yes, I watched it on my phone. Yes, I wanted to watch that fight. Yes, it's one of the
Man.
few fights I wanted to watch. Yeah, he's Raymond Savage is a beast. Very good fighter. Otabek is a beast. The Uzbek that he fought, they're both hella fighters. Best man won. That it shouldn't be like that in boxing too. It's okay to lose. You're fighting the best with the best. Or even if they're not the best with the best, two killers are fighting each other. One should lose. It's only fair. And then they should get another opportunity. And as far as the ring generalship, most of the Soviet boxers that have transitioned to America or North America, let's say Beterbiev, Golovkin, even Gozjik, they adapted some of this ring generalship. Look at Golovkin, one of his best attributes is how he cut off the ring. If you watch Beterbiev's last couple fights, you'll see him circling around the ring, trapping opponents, actually moving backwards, circling around them and landing big shots. He's not just I'm gonna come at you. He's coming at you at angles, and he's not coming at a straight line or backing away from a straight line. So I do think you're absolutely right. The American style of ring generalship is pivotal because most of the judges are westernized.
Yeah, I mean, like people also like to see that stuff, right? Like when, like the way, for
Yeah.
example, Raymond Ford moves around the ring, man. Like even when you're not landing
Oh yeah,
shots, even when you're not landing shots on your guy, just people looking at you move like that, they're thinking like, okay,
he's winning.
yeah,
He's winning. He looks like he's yeah. I would say one thing I've learned in the elite level of boxing, of course, it's how you punch, how you throw your hook. What else? You got to move your head. Sure, these are all things that let's say basics. Then there comes a point where it's how do you win an elite level fight? And a basic way to think about it is you punch, you move, or you hold. But you can never just stand there and jab. It's you got to punch, you got to move out the way with your legs, or you hold them. And that's the strategy the greatest fighters have done. Floyd Mayweather, if you look back, Sugar Ray Robinson, Sugar Ray Leonard, Canelo, you just don't see these guys. Okay, your turn. No, no,
yeah,
it doesn't
no,
work like
yeah,
that.
yeah. We've seen. I remember like Tyson Fury doing a lot of clinching with Francis in that fight, and
Of course,
but that
it's
didn't
how you
that didn't go his way.
go
I
ahead.
feel like at all, like in that fight, because I mean I seen Fury. The thing is, why I brought this up is I feel like Fury is one of the best clinchers in the game. Like I think he like puts his weight down on dudes and like just exhausts them doing nothing. And I feel like he tried that with Ngannou, but the guy was just like too big. And then he found himself like in a situation where Ngannou had this in like a half collar Muay Thai clinch, like feeding him uppercuts. And I was just like, dude, like get out of this. Like,
He was dealing with a wrestler. He's dealing with an MMA fighter. He was much more comfortable in the clinch than Tyson was compared to most boxers with Tyson. Yeah, like Tyson just messes around with like us little guys sometimes, and he does do his clinching. Oh my gosh, is it horrible? Because 5 seconds into it, you're like, oh my dude, get off of me. So yeah, and with Wilder, we saw that it worked tremendously. But with a guy like Francis Ngannou, this man he's been clinching for the last 15 years of his life. And dude, shout out to Francis, brother. In this game, in this fight business, it's a business. And I want to say the belts matter and name recognition matters, but what really matters is money because you put your health on the line, you put your life on the line, and you're doing it for the money, bro. Like that's what it really is for. So when you are capable of getting millions, mashallah, alhamdulillah, you're truly, truly blessed because that means you're able to feed yourself and feed your family.
100%. I'm not taking any credit from Ngannou at all. Like after I saw that, I was thinking like if he did that to Fury, I was wondering that he could probably even hurt Joshua, seeing that Joshua had previously been hurt by guys like Ruiz. But I think that just also speaks volumes how much dedication, training that Francis had put into himself, but also just how much of a huge role strength and conditioning plays in this game, man. I mean,
Oh yeah.
you know what I mean? It doesn't. you hear this saying of like guys like boxing off the couch, which is like totally true. Like at the end of the day, Tyson Fury did go out there and box this dude off of the couch. Like he looked like he wasn't doing anything in the lead up for the fight. But it's just when you fight a guy so physical like Francis Ngannou, like even if he hasn't got the fundamentals locked down, like he can put you on your ass. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Scary, bro.
Yeah.
Scary. He wasn't even a big punch that he landed on Tyson, and it rocked him, dropped him. And Tyson is a special fighter. He's a special boxer. One of the last maybe 50 years at heavyweight. He's gonna retire as a phenom. So for Francis to do that, I still think Tyson won almost every round except the knockdown. But that's still too close in the people's eyes, How can the heavyweight champion of the world get dropped by an MMA fighter?
Yeah, that's casual talk. You know what I mean? Like I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
I was like, guys, come on. He got dropped a couple of times, but you score the rounds round per round. And the round where he got dropped, he loses that round. But then the other rounds, he was using better distance manage. Like he still beat the guy. Like let's not forget. Like okay, it was a bad performance for him, but he still like beat a beast, dude, coming off the couch.
Yeah.
Like that's
yes, exactly. Yeah. It's very hard to wake up when you're getting millions and you have a family already and your children are there and your wife is there. Dude, it's not easy to get out of bed. It's to go fight, to go to war. It's like for what? I've earned my money, my wages in life. That's enough. So for him to, still get up and say like, I'm doing this for the people. Dude, shout out to Tyson. Shout out to Ngannou for making it a great performance, and big shout out to Anthony Joshua for picking boxing back up.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man. That knockout really, like, I don't know. I hated to see that, but in the same time, like I felt like we as the boxing world like needed to see that. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It also like sparks up the fight for Joshua versus Fury. I think that's going to be a tremendous fight as well. So once Fury gets this little rabbit out the way, I hope and believe he will go out there and outclass Anthony Joshua tremendously, and may the best man win.
So you think so? First of all, you jumped over like one big one, right? Which is like Fury and Usyk. You think he's just gonna totally smoke Usyk?
Yes.
What makes you say that?
Size, speed, ring IQ, experience. Yeah, he's fighting family. I think Usyk is an amazing fighter, but we're judging Tyson off of his performance with Francis Ngannou. Yeah, I don't see it being a close fight at all. I see Tyson walking through Fury, I see Fury walking through Usyk and catapulting himself to a massive fight with Anthony Joshua at the end of the year for all 4 titles, hopefully undisputed heavyweight champion of the world.
Well, that would be insane. I think you're right in a sense that a lot of people are saying, hey, look at how he did versus Ngannou, but it's like we just said, he hadn't been doing any strength and conditioning. If you take a good look at the guy, you don't even take a good look to realize that, I reckon. I think at the end of the day, people do forget in the matchup against Usyk, he is still the way bigger guy. He has a lot more reach. And Usyk is just not, somehow he's a big dude, but somehow he just doesn't sit on his punches or something.
I think he can still hurt anybody, including Tyson. But Tyson has been in there with killers, and he's too smart. He's gonna put his weight on him. He's gonna hold him. He's gonna hit him in the body, hit him in the head, hit him in the arms. And, I believe, yeah, Fury walks all over him.
I see it too, because I think Usyk is a point fighter, and
yes,
Fury is the epitome of point fighter, right? You can't outpoint Fury because he's really good at distance management. Even if he's losing the round, he can just hop circles around you, keep jabbing the shit out of his opponent.
Yes.
and you know he just got to throw a right hand in there like once, twice, and he can win the round. And I don't know if Usyk can sort of cut through all that and sort of knock him out or do something like he. At the end of the day, Usyk also doesn't have the same knockout power as Ngannou. You know what I mean?
I also have seen Usyk get tired, right? I've trained with Tyson, and Tyson doesn't ever get tired. The word tired doesn't exist. He's actually taught. He's one of the biggest things I've learned from Tyson is you shouldn't be getting tired in boxing. It should be second nature, like breathing. It's easier than running. It's not that it's easier. It's just once you are in that zone, it should come much more natural to you to just go through rounds and rounds and rounds without even counting around. Whereas you can see Usyk in a lot of his fights, even with Dubois, you can see him gassing out, holding his body, finding ways to get a foul called for the opposing fighter. These are all excuses. I really hope Tyson knocks him clean the hell out. But I love Usyk too as a fighter. But I really hope Tyson like puts people in their place, especially that fight with Usyk.
Yeah, I think it would be an amazing comeback story for his legacy, especially
Yes,
that last performance. But I think it's really exciting right now for the heavyweight division, and there's a lot of things happening. I wonder if you watched Joe Parker recently, his last two performances.
very good dude, man. Really good dude. What a freaking like gritty guy. You know, gets dropped what 3 times by Zhang and still hangs in there and wins every other round that he doesn't get dropped in. That's just so much grit, determination, confidence, self belief. I'm sure faith in God. So, like, God bless him. God bless his family. His career is alive, and he's also about to make a huge living. So good for him. And dude, I wish him. Who does he have next? Probably the winner of Herkovich and Dubois. So uh, I would also see Parker beating both guys.
Dude, you know what's crazy? It was the other day I was looking into Parker, and I think he's only like 30 or 32 years old.
Yes, yes. Became champion at 26, I believe.
He looks like he could be somebody's grandpa, bro. Like, but like in a good way, you know what I mean?
Yes, yes, yes. He's wise and experienced. Yes, for a very young man, very true. He's younger than me.
I was so stunned by his performance the first time against Deontay Wilder. Towards the later rounds, he just like had enough. You see him, he had enough of. He just thought, why am I giving this guy any respect? And he just goes in there and he turns it into a meat grinder, right? Just throws the absolute kitchen
Oh, dude.
sink at him. See, like Deontay afterwards in the interview, like, he wasn't even talking straight after fighting a full fight with Parker.
Who does he have next? Zhang?
Yeah, that's what they said, right? But they were saying that they were saying that it's rumored that they're not sure, they haven't got it locked down, but it looks like it. I don't know. How do you see that one going?
A tough fight for both. I could see Deontay like landing one punch and kill, like just how he just destroys everybody. But then Zhang is a special guy. Dude. Zhang, I really thought Zhang would. I mean, I wanted Joseph to win, but I thought after seeing those knockdowns, I'm like, there's no way Joseph's gonna pull this one out. Sure as hell did. But Zhang is a terrifying, terrifying guy. His punches look like they're going in slow motion, but they land like they're nukes. So um, that's a tough one to call. Yeah. Oh my God. That's a really tough one to call. I would want my brother Deontay to win, man. I think he's a great dude, awesome guy. Uh, Power in both hands. I asked Tyson once, I'm like, does Deontay hit hard? And he's like, I don't really know because every time he's hit me, I found myself getting up from a punch that I didn't see or feel. I'm like,
Damn.
okay, so, yeah. So he's an extraordinary fighter.
Yeah, I used to be a big fan of Deontay until like like I feel like he stayed like inactive for a really long time, and
Yeah,
there was just a lot of talking happening between him and Joshua for years. And I think at this point, a lot of people in boxing grown sort of resentful of the entire heavyweight division because of just, you know, this back and forth between Joshua and Wilder and nothing really happening. I think like it was really cool that he gave Parker his shot, but interview he gave afterwards, okay, like is he focused on boxing still? Like is he gonna box again for real? Because it sounded like he went through a transformative experience. You know, he had done ayahuasca, and I don't know if he went to Burning Man or
Did he?
something. Yeah,
Did he do ayahuasca? He said that.
bro, he said that in the middle of Saudi Arabia. In the post bro, in the post fight interview, he was
Shut up,
swear
dude.
to God.
What are you saying? It's not the place to say this. Hey. Oh man, what
Uh,
an experience. He probably went to the moon and back. Oh,
uh,
yeah, saw the entities and all, man. Yeah, that's it's too peaceful for boxing to do those things. This is a sport. This is a sport filled with ego, and you don't need an ego death when you still are in boxing. You need to keep that ego alive and today a little bit on. Pray to God that you use that ego for your benefit, for good, and you don't use it with your family and your loved ones. But you definitely need that ego in boxing to catapult you to the top level, keep you there, win a title. Unfortunately, knock guys out clean, hurt
mhm.
them bad, and do your job because this is a war. If they can do it to you, they will. If they can kill you accidentally, they will. And if you can do the same, you will and you should, because this is life or death. And you don't need an ego death to go all through all that. You need to keep your ego alive and well.
100%, man. I'm with you. That's why I was concerned about what he said. But I don't know. I hope he's in a better way now. Man, dudes are trying to kill each other in sparring. You know what I mean? You can't be doing that.
Bro, ain't no time for that. Exactly. Exactly. Of
What I've noticed, like sparring and boxing, is like try to light your opponent up culture in the gym. You know what I mean?
course. Yeah, it's always gonna be. I mean, I'd say Muay Thai more, right?
That's the thing, though.
Muay Thai more.
No, that's the thing, though. What I found out during my training in Muay Thai is sparring in Muay Thai is just super technical, and people are super easy going on each other. And you see like Thais actually getting angry at dudes that are trying to like get other dudes out of the ring. You know what I mean? When I say also like technical light sparring, it doesn't mean like you're just touching each other. You know what I mean? Like you're obviously
Oh
like
yeah.
you're not trying to hurt your opponent, especially considering that they go to the same gym as you, right? There's this such culture of staying relaxed during sparring and exploring things and stuff. What do you reckon about this, right?
Okay, there's differences of what we call hard sparring. So, um, okay, when I was younger, maybe I would go hard. Then I reached an age where I'm in the middle of my career. I was working with sparring guys that I would take it easy on them. And then you get used to that. Then you move to a place like Vegas and you realize people don't take it easy on you. So then I realized you have to also train to kill. Like in the elite level, you need certain days where it's not just hard sparring because I think sometimes I'm so much better than most sparring partners that it's not hard for me, but I don't want to hurt them. But I realized also it might not be hard for me. I don't want to hurt them, but I have to train to hurt them because that's a real fight scenario. I can't go into the fight where I'm so used to even just hitting someone hard hurts your hand.
Mm-hmm.
It hurts your hand, so you have to get used to hurting your hand. I can guarantee you, the nicest guys like Beterbiev try to hurt their partners. It's not that they try to hurt their partners; it's they have to do the job at 120%. That way, they show up to the fight at 100%. So it just comes with the sport. It just really does come with the sport, and that's where I think a lot of guys like Deontay Wilder look to ayahuasca because you start to feel guilty for a lot of the guys you've knocked out for money. A lot of the things that you're putting your life on, you're putting your career on the line. It's a gamble. We're literally like gambling. So it does start to affect your morals as a person, and it has with me. But if I'm like, okay, I'm at this point in my career, I've given it 15 years. Like, if I'm gonna start wanting to be this peaceful monk now and like a prophet from God and stuff, like it's like, brother, like you chose the wrong business. You know, like you you ain't got no revelations to prove. You got your religion to follow. Alhamdulillah. You are all you can do is be a good person to the people that are closest to you in your life. And other than that, you got to train to kill. Absolutely. And yeah, you got to train to kill, bro. And of course, like at the elite level, this is where it gets interesting. Like when a good trainer, you're an elite fighter. Your trainer sees that the sparring is too rough, he fires the partners because at the elite level, we pay our partners to show up to the gym to spar us for a certain amount of rounds. So at the end of the day, they're getting paid to get beat the fuck up. You know, it's it comes with the job. And if they could do it to me, even if I'm a champion of the world, if my sparring partner is 1-0 or 2-0, I'm champion of the world. I guarantee you, if I let him try to hurt me, he's gonna try to hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not good in the gym, he's gonna be like, "Hey, I just beat up the champion of the world." So you can't have that either, because this is war, bro. It's like, it's like a spy in an army. It's what happened in the Canelo camp with me.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that he was being very lackluster and like too relaxed, and it's like, he doesn't care. All right, well, I care, motherfucker. I'm gonna whoop your ass. So like, yeah, they didn't like it. It's like you get in there 3 rounds, they kick you out. But it's for me, it's like, dude, I'm trying to make it in life. You want to help me make it? If you don't want to help, they didn't want to help me get fights at the time. I wasn't with Don, so I'm like, well, whatever. I'm gonna use your. I think he's a very small 175 pounder. So in my head, I'm like, I'm gonna be sparring a 154 pounder and whooping his ass every day. For money. Why not? So that's how other fighters would think about it towards me. And I unfortunately, yes, boxing is a brutal sport. There are not good people in boxing. Most guys in boxing are not good people. They're egotistical. I'm gonna say some are. I'm not judging. They're weirdos. They're emotional. It's like they come from like the streets in not a good way. I know humble guys that come from the streets and make it and are very kind and generous and humble, but no, these guys stay that way. They don't learn their lesson, and you trade with people. Someone is being respectful to you. You observe carefully. You see if he's being a little snake and successful. Okay, I mean, and generous and kind. You be careful. But if someone's being truly courteous, kind, humble, wanting to work with you dance with your partner accordingly.
You work with
you
what
don't
you
just be
get.
like, yes, yeah. So most guys are assholes, so I treat them like fucking assholes.
Talking about like, courtesy and like the kind of like different characters and egos you get in boxing, what did you think about like this whole thing with Canelo sort of just like pushing Benavidez out of the division essentially, and and not giving him a chance? What do you think of that whole thing?
Dude, he's a smart businessman. I can bet anybody millions of dollars, which no one's gonna bet me $1 million, but I bet anybody $1 million that Canelo will fight him in the next 2 years. I can bet you anything. He's gonna let him sit at 175 for a couple of years. Then he's gonna say, "You want to fight me for 20 million? Sure. You got to come down to 168." And bada bing, bada boom, Canelo wins by knockout. Easy.
So you think he's gonna
Easy.
let Benavidez fight at light heavyweight for a couple more fights and then give him the fight?
Of course, at 168. Absolutely. There is nothing like losing weight. Nothing. It is the first fight of a fight. You say the first fight of the fight is making weight. The second fight is fighting. When you have to lose weight that you shouldn't lose, you are not going to show up to a fight 100%. You'll show up at most 40, 50%. And if you're at 40 and 50% and an elite fighter, you'll survive. You won't get knocked out, but you'll lose every round. There is no way he'll come back down to 68 and beat Canelo. Absolutely not.
Dude, I thought that was it was a big risk for Benavidez to also move up and then fight a guy like Guzdik, right? Like
Gozdik, and that's why they have him fighting Gozdik. Gozdik is signed with Canelo.
okay.
So if you really know the business, Canelo will fight Benavidez once he get past Gozdik, bring him back down to 68. Yeah, I'll fight him. It's like for sure because he's gonna hit him in the body and break him. Right now he's training in Miami. There's videos of him in Miami at the boxer gym. Yeah, he's sparring all these 168 pounders, but the guy's like 220 pounds.
Who's
Like,
220
of
pounds?
course, Benavidez. He's here in Miami sparring with like light heavyweights and smaller guys and 168 pounders, 16. But they're putting up videos of him doing well. It's like, of course he's doing well. He hasn't cut weight yet. Once, dude, I've been in camp with the best fighters, and I don't want to say their names, but the fighters that treat it like a fat camp, I go in there like a happy kid, bro. I'm like, I'm whooping your ass today. Easy. Because I ate a big bowl of pasta the night before, and I don't need to make weight. But they're sparring 10 rounds while cutting weight.
Oh
And
damn.
They show up to the fight, they're like,
Yeah. I thought it was crazy risky move, dude. Like it smelled of something. Like I didn't know that actually Gozdik was signed with Canelo. That makes a lot of sense.
dude, boxing is hella tough, bro. I can't say too much in-depth shit because I'm gonna get blacklisted. So I'm just gonna say like let people do their thing and I really wish them the best. My mouth has gotten me in trouble too many times in my career, and that's why I'm my age and like don't get them as much fights as I want because I say the truth. I say things how it is. I've been fortunate enough to have old school guys in the game tell me the biggest secrets of boxing, and it's once you know these things, you're like, oh, that's why, and this why, and that's and so it's yeah.
Let's tell everybody like when is your next fight, and let's get that locked down for the fans so everybody could get their calendars straight.
Abibi, thank you. Next fight, inshallah, April 27th, Casino Miami Highlight. Yeah, defending my two titles, about to sell out. You have to look exceptional, look sensational, look superb, and put on a great show for all of boxing.
I'm sure you're gonna make us all proud, dude. You have been all this time. My man Ahmed, it was such a great pleasure talking to you, bro. And for real,
Thank you, brother. Always, dude.
I think like the way you said this before on the show, you said like you get blacklisted a lot because you speak your own mind. But I think, bro, like this is really something that sets you out. And I think like makes you so unique. You're a true jewel in the world of combat sports. And I think like a lot of guys look up to you in the Middle East and are looking forward to see you fight more and become champion.
Thank you, brother. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. We have Allah's blessing, alhamdulillah. We have the light in us, alhamdulillah. And alhamdulillah, we know what is dark and we stay away from the darkness. So that's all I wish for everybody to realize. Look at the light in you, portray it to others, and be kind, be humble, be generous. But if someone isn't good to you, then tell them to go.
Hell yeah. Hey man, you heard it here on CounterBunch, Shabab. This was my friend, my brother, Ahmed Elbiali. Bro, it was so nice having you on the show. I wish you an amazing Ramadan. Absolute pleasure as always. Take care of yourself. Thanks for coming on the show.
My pleasure, brother. Ramadan Kareem. Happy Eid. Inshallah. نتكلم قريب.